Like Erling Haaland went to the
too
wrong
early.
club, and I don't think it's too early. Do you know what I mean? Like
do again.
I don't
It's
think it's
right
too
now,
early. I don't think it's too early, and I'll tell you why it's not too early. It's because Man City have been playing this football for 7 or 8 years. So it's not too early to look at a player and say he doesn't suit what Man City have been doing for the last 7 or 8 years. The same way Jack Grealish doesn't suit what Man City are doing for the last 7 or 8 years. It's not too early to say that because we've got a big sample size of what Haaland is. We've got a big sample size of what Grealish is, and we've got a big sample size of what Man City is. And if you put them side by side, they don't suit. Do you know what I mean? So, like, it does. I don't think that is. Yeah.
Let me position another way. If they're buying Grealish, who doesn't suit that style, and they're buying Haaland that doesn't suit that style, right? Doesn't that say that they could also be looking over the next couple of years to evolve to a different style?
It does say that. It does.
Right.
It could be that, but given Pep, and he only knows how to play one way, it's very stupid if that's what he's trying to do.
I agree. Again, I'll go back to this. As football fans, we're very good at saying things like this mid-season, right? If City went on a run now and won the league, just hypothetical, or if they went on a run and won the Champions League, no one's going to say anything, right? This is the thing. It's all about the here and now. If Erling Haaland scores 40 Premier League goals this season, which he could well do, right?
Yeah.
And they somehow pip Arsenal to that title, right? Pep will be justified. Yeah. Now I agree with certain things that Carrick said.
More likely at this present moment, yeah, then he's just a Harry Kane, bruv, like scoring goals for no reason. Because
listen, I agree with you. Listen, Rants, I agree with you. But as I've always said to you, I'm someone that I like to wait and see. I like to wait and see. Yeah, I just think at the moment the problem is City don't look right in general. And I know, obviously, the whole thing with Haaland, it's all going to be blamed from that top player. For me, something don't look right even before it gets to Haaland. The speed in which they're playing through the midfield is non-existent now. Like they used to move it quickly, pass, move, pass, creating opportunities. Now it's very slow. It's very methodical. The defense doesn't look right. The whole thing doesn't look right. If that started to click again, and Haaland started to click, we'd all be changing our minds. I think I'm going to give it time. I'm going to give it time. Obviously, there was going to need to be some adjustment with a player like Haaland joining. And I think Pep knows that, but might have underestimated just how difficult that would be. But that's his job now, right? Change it up. Get the best out of him. But people sit so deep versus City that it is going to be difficult for them, for people to see what we've seen of Haaland before. Now,
precisely, but that's even more reason to go back to what works against these low blocks, and it's fluidity, and it's not having one fucking focal point. Do you know what I mean? And it's the constant waves of pressure, winning the ball back, and literally wearing down your opponent, which is what City used to do so well.
Yeah, listen, I agree. As I said, you know, we'll see. We'll see where we are at the end of the season. If City went on and won the league, and Erling Haaland scored 40, 45 Premier League goals, everyone that's writing it off completely now looks very silly, right? If he doesn't, then they're justified. And that's the thing. When we come on YouTube channels every week and we talk, we have to live and die by our opinions, right? And I don't know. I just think the whole thing isn't working, not just Haaland. I think the whole thing doesn't look right. It just doesn't look right. Something's fundamentally missing. And I think lots of clubs this year seem to be in a transition period. Chelsea, Liverpool, City. For City, they're in a transition period. And then you've got other teams going the other way. Newcastle, Man United, Arsenal. So those three have gone that way. The other three are coming this way. But I've seen this before, Rants. You've seen it before. Teams go through these seasons. They have a bad year. Everyone writes them off. And then the next season, they're back at it. And they're unstoppable. We've seen it. So I'll just
I don't know, bro. What I'm seeing with Haaland is exactly what I'm seeing with Cristiano Ronaldo at Man United, bro. And he left, and now look at us. You know what I mean? Like that's just what it is. Like people, like he's saying he's the only one scoring. He's the only one scoring because one, he don't really get assists. He don't bring people into the game. He's a player that doesn't make the people around him better. Same as Ronaldo. Do you know what I'm saying? So if he's not scoring, there's a problem. So he needs to be fucking scoring. You know what I'm saying? But
Of
the fact that
course, of
he's
course.
scoring, doesn't mean anything. Like in the grand scheme of things, literally, just like Ronaldo, them man are vacuums here. They suck the ball like towards them. And if they're not playing and if they're not winning, bro, like everyone else is worse with them in the team.
I,
Everyone else.
where the reason I disagree with that is because, as I said yesterday, for me, the number of times that those players could play Haaland in, but they don't. The
Because
number of
that's not
times.
their style. Why should they change for him? They've been there for how long? Do you know what I mean? Should have never bought him in the first place.
But what were they doing different to that yesterday? This is my feeling. Like, if you watch the game yesterday, if you're saying they shouldn't have played him, they shouldn't change for him. But what were they doing otherwise? They weren't doing their normal game. They weren't quickening it up.
But they can't play the normal game with him in the game because he doesn't pick up the same positions that other players pick up. This is the problem. Like it's both. It's the team, but also it's him. Do you know what I mean? They don't trust him in
Yeah.
spaces where they would trust other people, and rightly so, because his technical ability, yeah, like on the ball is below average, blood, for a Premier League player. It's below average. On the ball, when you play the ball into his feet, it's brother's bouncing off him. It's not Lukaku, but it's not great. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you play the ball into him, you don't feel safe playing the ball into him, especially if you zip it into him. He's not technically good like that. The guy can finish. Like, that's it. That's all he can
Yeah,
do is finish. He can do
I agree.
nothing else. You know what I mean? And also because he can finish and do nothing else, he doesn't put himself in positions to receive the ball where he's not comfortable, bro, because he can't turn on it. So a lot of the time when he comes deep, even when you watch him at Dortmund, yeah, like he would run deep, he would lay it off, spin off, and then look for the return ball with a high line, and that. He can't do that in the Premier League. Like players don't play like that. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
I'm gonna give it. Listen, I hear all sorts of theories all the time, and lots of them don't turn out to be true. I'm gonna give it some time. I think it's easy when a team is out of form. We pick on the main man, and
yeah, but we have to say they're out of form because he's playing though. Do you know
I
what I mean?
know,
We
no.
can't overlook the last one, bro.
Rads. I watched them yesterday close up, right? I'm telling you, Man City weren't right from the back four. Beginning from the back four, the midfield didn't look right. It didn't look right anywhere on the pitch. That was not all Erling Haaland. That was not all Erling Haaland. The back four not looking right isn't because of the striker. Yeah, I'm just gonna. Listen. I'm
Yeah, but
gonna.
even
As
though the
I said,
back four didn't look right, you only won 1-0. Let's not get carried away. It's not like you battered them.
no,
Like we
no, no,
battered
no,
you lot like
no.
3-0 and you didn't touch the ball. Like that's a
Yeah, but
different
right,
game.
yeah, but hang on, that's silly. That's not what I'm saying.
No,
I'm
but
not
you're
saying
talking about the back line, but it was only 1-0. Like it was
right.
only
Yeah,
one
yeah, but
nil
hang on. If you let me finish, right? The back line, just because they only let in one goal, doesn't need that to tell me it's not right. You could see they weren't together as a team. They weren't defending as a unit. They weren't talking to each other. The gaps in between the defenders, yeah. The playing on the ball didn't seem right. They're normally very fluid at bringing it out. Their centre backs weren't. It just looked. Listen, Spurs are wasteful. That's the problem. We should have scored a lot of goals on the break yesterday, but we're wasteful. We got in behind them time and time again, and that is how I know, right? And you know I'm honest about Spurs. That's how I know it's not right from everyone on the pitch. The problem is what we want to do. It's natural. This is what we want to do. It's all Haaland's. It's not all Haaland's fault. Does Haaland fit the team? That's a different question.